Good morning. Welcome. Hello, hello. Hello and welcome. Happy Wednesday. Happy day. Feel free to join us on camera. It's nice to feel like, it feels like I have a conversation with you instead of just staring at names. Debbie's got our camera on, so does Krista. Come hang out with us. Oh, we got a few people just popping in, getting organized. Welcome. Day 2 of the Beauty Boss Blueprint Masterclass. Good morning. Good morning. I am your host, Trina Lane. I've been in the biz now for 20 plus years, coaching for the last 16. This masterclass is an extension of my main coaching program, the Beauty Business Method. You know, it's designed for the ready entrepreneur to dig into both personal, professional growth. And I think that's what you're all here for, right? Show of hands for those of you who can see, right? Just like we talked about yesterday. I love it. Energy. And, you know, I will say this too, and I bet you there'll probably be a few people doing this. You know, we're building a business that should be sustainable. You feel like you're part of a community, honoring those gifts and values while you're taking that time to build that thing you hold within the deepest part of your heart. And if you remember yesterday, I'm a huge person where I kind of like, we're not just providing a skill, we are in the business of relationships. Okay. There's much more to you than just doing nails or like me, just offering makeup services. Okay. So I think when we're thinking about our businesses, you're thinking about also your personal brand, yourself as a whole. So right now we're also sharing some promos that are happening. Chris is plopping some links into the chat. Open up your chat. What's good to know is I have opened up my personal calendar for those of you who want to jump in and have a quick 10-15 minute meet and greet with me to talk about maybe your needs, to talk about the direction and see what we also offer in the beauty business method. So Krista's going to be so awesome to plot my personal calendar link. As of right now, it looks like I'm only available Friday. So let's get you guys in there. Sooner than later would be awesome. Okay, everyone's got their playbooks. Are we organized? Those of you with your cameras not on, drop a note in the chat. Let me know you're ready. Cassia's feeling good. I got thumbs up. That's amazing. So let's do a quick recap from yesterday, you guys. And I'm also leaning on page 6 in your playbook. We don't have that. Crystal will drop that there in the chat as well. Mary's ready. I love it. What is your why? Why have you started this fun-loving career of yours? You know, I would like to know, like, what are the things that you're wanting personally and professionally? And I would love to hear anything that you maybe have spent time on since I saw you yesterday. You know, what services are going to be our heavy hitters, the ones that make us the money? So then we can create an awesome brand and a niche being known as, this is who I am. How much money is it going to take to feel that safety and that security we were talking about yesterday? Or some of us part-time, we're looking into moving into being full-time. We'd like to be full-time, just doing our thing. What is your why? Yesterday, I talked about money and time, right? Being in control of my paycheck, how I make my money. But I'm also a huge fan of how do I spend my time? And even better, who am I spending it with? Right? And I think everybody needs to write that down. Tebby's going to be one of our speakers here in the next little bit. She's joined us already because she wanted to come and hang out. She's like this too. Who are you spending your time with? It's got to be with the right people. We need to ensure that we're doing the right things that feel juicy, that feel yummy. So that's where we're taking care of us. And as a very important thing to write down in your schedule, where do you fit in? Where are you putting yourself first? Good morning, welcome. Thanks for jumping in. We've just got started. Feel free to turn your cameras on too, you guys. Don't be shy. Be brave. Today's a new day. Let's be brave together. So what I want to spend a little bit of chunk of time with you guys before Tevi and then Chris to take over is I want to expand on creating ease for you. But we're also thinking about the client journey. So today we're focusing on tech and tools, creating that ease, again, with you being first, but it also helps the client's journey. So there's gonna be a few little nuggets kind of coming together. And then Tevi's gonna bring in burnout prevention and some strategy and tips there. There's nothing worse than just diving in and giving it your all. And I'm all for drive and ambition, enthusiasm. But remember yesterday, let's set up a schedule that feels good. You own your schedule. I would write that down and highlight that, baby. I'm in charge. I own my schedule. Me first, man, before anyone else. If you can't take care of you, forget it. Like, good luck with everything else, right? And again, we're just going to keep this like light and humorous, okay? Because we got to be able to still kind of have a chuckle. But on page 6 in your playbook, what would make you feel fulfilled in your career? Do I need help? Do I need mentorship? Do I need to maybe think about some tech and tools to be able to kind of help me? And here's the thing with tech and tools. It's still a journey. You're still gonna have to manage stuff. So we need to ensure that we're finding the right product to help us do our jobs and make the client's journey easy. So yesterday, number 1, we jumped right into what? A booking link, you guys. Get together booking calendars for your clients. That helps you out. Next thing you know, you got DMs and emails and phone calls, and you can only do so much. Trust me, I know. I feel like a fossil when I talk about when I started, I didn't have any of those things, right? And you just make yourself available because you're excited. And next thing you know, you're like 2 years in and you're like, why am I so tired? I think I'm still passionate, but why am I so exhausted? Right? So I'm grateful that even since the pandemic, a lot of tech has become available for all of us and the way we do business and how we take care of business. But it's also not just for us, it's also for the clients. What does that mean, Trina? Think about the clients. So wrap your brain around this. Is it easy for your clients to find you? And then when they find you, are they getting the right info? And can they make a decision ASAP based on that info by booking in with you? Get a booking calendar together. One I found that has been ours since 2020, actually. Doesn't cost me an arm and a leg for what I need. Plus we're hair and makeup services. So I don't really need, my brain just lost it. Like a client release form or an intake form for my clients to fill out. I think if you're drawing blood in your services, you probably want something that provides an intake form. And in my business, we're not drawing blood. At least we're hoping not, okay? Things can happen. Things can go sideways. But think about, what can this booking link do? What is the expectation the client is going to want? Guys, keep it so simple, kindergarten, that no one's frustrated and then they just kind of step away and they're no longer booking in with you. So that booking link, are they paying up front? Are you taking a deposit? These are things you're going to have to start thinking about as an entrepreneur. Do we have terms and policies in place? What do we have for refunds? Are we allowing refunds? No, but maybe we'll hold a credit and apply to your next visit. See where I went with that? Because you still got to get paid for your time. If someone cancels last minute, that's another highlight right there. Terms and policies. Take care of you. And I'm going to say this. If you got terms and policies in place, the client now knows your expectations, and it's not a guessing game. They're not wondering where their refund is. You're literally like, and ta-da, here it is, because you saw it already when you booked, right? Come out of the gate with thinking about things that could happen and be in prevention mode. Protect yourself, protect your clients. Plus, your clients look at this type of stuff to be like, oh, Cassie is serious about her business. Kristen knows what she's talking about. I like how she has her terms and policies in place. This creates someone who looks like they're serious in business and they mean business. Doing things a little differently, you guys. Now, upon booking, do they get a confirmation? How to arrive to their appointment, where to park? We go over and beyond. We have it in there that expect a text from one of our artists about 2 to 3 days out because we just want to check because we're also mobile. So then within there, upon a text, it's like, hey, it's Trina Lane, looking forward to Thursday. If you need anything, please text me here, but just double checking your address is correct. Or if they're coming to me, here's my address, here's where to park. Is this good stuff? Drop it in the chat. I want to make sure everyone's alive. Can't see all of you. What's happening? I'd like to say I got my eye on you, but I don't. I see nothing. And I hear crickets. Drop it in the chat. Is this good stuff, you guys? Who's got a booking tool in place? Tiffany's giving me a heart. Yes, love it. Love it. Thanks for the thumbs up. Good stuff. Upon arrival, think about how it's going to go down. When the client arrives, how are they being greeted? Is there any smells? Are the animals tucked away? We all work from home and everybody now has a dog, right? Making sure that we're taking care of clients' allergies. Like, you got to think about these things, you guys. Think about how great is it for the client to arrive and what their expectation is going to be so you can accommodate that, right? Have a wow factor. Is there music playing? What type of music? Or do they get to choose? My earlier part of my career started in skin therapy. And I remember I burned CDs. This is how throwback this is. Debbie's like, oh yeah, I remember those days. And then you make copies for your friends, right? Make your own labels, you know, it'd be like Spa 2. That's what I was calling them. But I would burn my own CDs. And there was one, I guess, spa song or yoga meditation that came on where there was a bird in the background. So like every few seconds, be like, and I'm like, I think that's seagulls over the ocean. No one's relaxing to that. So, you know, think in terms of what kind of list you're playing. Do they get to choose? Maybe they have their own. I do that with my massage therapist. He's like, put on your own. I'm like, thanks, man. You know, so everyone's different. Think about the client experience. Upon the service, what's happening thereafter? Put this nugget down. Are we retailing? That's something to think about. And then is there a follow-up? Are they pre-booking? But going back to yesterday's conversation, instead of just trading your time for that one client and one service, have we thought about creating memberships and subscriptions to keep our clients coming back? Right? Making that money, using your time wisely, you guys. Okay. Again, just keep things so simple. Simple, but yet effective. There needs to be an ease for you and for the client. So the booking tool is essential. That's number one. And I know when everyone thinks about, when we start talking about like, okay, once we get a client, are they getting updates, promos, education, you know, through email marketing? Are we blogging? Are we taking care of our social media? I would like to kind of slip into, Tiffany, that's a great question. Nope, that's all good. I use Setmore. That's the booking app. Doesn't require an intake form for the client though. So if the client needs to fill out a consultation form, an intake form, you got to look for something. There's like Jane app. That one seems to be very sophisticated for that. There's also MindBody, but that guy's pricey, and I feel like MindBody is good for franchises. So if you have multiple like locations. Perfect. So if you have forms already, slide that into something like the Jane app. Everything's digital. So upon booking, the client gets an email, they fill it out, it comes back to you. It's all digital. So you don't have to, save the trees and the birds and the bees, right? But let's talk about some digital marketing. And at a later point, Krista's going to circle back in to talk about, again, thinking about certain things when it comes to certain tech, because things should have an ease, you guys. And here's my rule of thumb. If you have spent like 7 minutes and you haven't quite figured out how that platform or that tech is going to work for you, you're out. So with Setmore in 4 minutes, I had like a trial. I had it all figured out in 4 minutes. And I was like, perfect. This is what I needed. I'm not second guessing anything, and I'm not spending a day setting something up. Granted, we got to make sure, because we're working on our businesses in the schedule, you're going to be doing some stuff, but you got to come up with a schedule of when do I handle my social media? When am I blogging? When am I scheduling my email marketing? Am I reaching out to my clients 1 to 2 days prior? Or are they getting automatic email reminders or text reminders? These are things don't stress about, but start to kind of add to, your list of what you want to tackle. You will know best what you're going to want to need. Am I right? Again, we said this yesterday. We're very intuitive. And this is why we're probably in a place of business here too. Website. If you're running a website or a landing page to direct people to, that is great. Have your information there. What's most important is you need a bio. And I'm a huge fan of using ChatGPT to help generate ideas, not to build your whole entire bio. You following me? Who's feeling me? ChatGPT is great because once you kind of work with that bad boy, that baby, you start building a relationship with that AI. They start to get to know your business when you're like, hey man, I need you to help me out with kicking off this, or can you write me up a little something here? And then you're piecing stuff together. Also reach out to your clients and your besties. What are 3 words that describe me to create this bio? This bio needs to be available everywhere. People need to know who you are. First and foremost, you might share this from time to time on your socials. If you have like Linktree, which I highly recommend, that's on my Facebook, that's on my LinkedIn, that's in my Instagram. Linktree is one platform that literally has, here's all the links anybody needs. There's something about you in there, where to book, right? Again, just keeping things so simple so people can find what they need. Everyone's an educated consumer and a buyer. Am I right? We already all know what we're looking for. So when we go to look for it, we're looking for exactly that. And if you make it easy enough for people to be like, oh, yeah, Cassia does that, done. Right? Simple, simple. So this stuff might take you a bit to kind of work on and set up, but then after that, it's just maintenance. It's a journey. So is that website. So is that social media. So is that email marketing. And I would suggest starting to look at what you need first to help you out, probably a booking app. Tiffany, if you got those paper forms, get them, into something that's digital. Make it simple. Good nugget to know. Your social media is free, but you don't own your followers. So I highly suggest, as a business owner, email marketing, because you own that email list. And 10 years ago, a law was passed that they'd have to be having done business with you for the last 2 years to be on that marketing list. My opinion, if they've been your client, you've touched them, they've paid you, they're in that email list, baby, okay? So think about things that if something was to happen and you lost your Instagram account, where do your people go? How do you reach them? Have a backup plan, but the biggest plan needs to be email marketing, okay? And certain booking tools you work with might have those options available for you as well. Again, streamline stuff. Don't be running like 7 different apps. Find things that can handle at least 2 to 3 different things for you. And you're like, great. If it costs a little bit more, write this down. I'm investing in myself and my business. But you need to also run that by maybe your accountant, whoever's helping you out financially too, okay? Just don't be all excited and you're throwing money at a bunch of stuff. This is great. And then again, we're exhausted, we're panicking, we're thinking about money, and then we're like, ah, and then we go back to old habits of just trying to get people in the door. We're trying to sell stuff, right? Clear out some old habits. Where are we going today that shifts how we do business a little differently? Streamline with some good tech. Think about how you want things set up. Think of that client's journey. Keep it so simple. I can't stress that enough. As I said, if it becomes complicated, like show of hands or drop it in the chat. If it becomes complicated, do you just like walk away? Like, I feel like that's us now, right? 2024, we're like, I just can't even. I'm out, right? Email marketing. MailChimp is probably one of the easiest to work with, the most affordable. Plus, if you run, say, an Instagram giveaway and you're collecting email addresses as part of that giveaway, I just gave you a tip there. Giveaway, you're collecting data. Got it? That's what we're all here for. Hey, I did it to you. You're here today. We stalked you. But it was for your benefit and mine, right? So let's share that fun, right? Collect that data. That's what it's there for. If people are reaching out and plopping their information, they want to do business with you, or eventually, right? They're in research mode too, some people, okay? And that's great. Get them into your bubble, or another fancy word that's trending right now, your ecosystem. Tevi and Krista can probably, you know, what, every 4 months there's a new word trending. I just stick with bubble. Get people in your bubble. It's like my go-to. So check out MailChimp. What's great to know is when you're collecting email addresses, or if you're using certain booking apps, you can sync these tools together. So someone books, boom, they get automatically put into your MailChimp. If you're using QuickBooks to track finances, invoices, you name it, boop, they get put right into your MailChimp. Again, creating that ease for you. So you're not downloading spreadsheets and uploading here. No. Think about all that middle stuff that just needs to go bye-bye. Simple. Because again, we're what? One person wearing many hats. So we got to create that ease. How are we doing so far? The rest of you I can't see. Everyone's doing good? Drop it in the chat. We're doing good so far. I love it. Okay, I'm just taking a peek, making sure I'm on the same page here. Prioritizing those client relationships. This is like probably the one biggest thing to ever know is what's going on behind the scenes and the back end. Okay, this is good. Yes, Mary, it'd be nice to see your face. It's been a while. So going back to your why, and let's create a list. What is kind of maybe the first 2 things we need to take care of? And write that down. I would like, seriously, this is a minute right now just to be in your space right now and be like, okay, Trina just laid all this on me. Booking app, what I need to clean up here. And again, this is not picking apart anything. It's just being like, how can I just be a little bit more smarter with this moving forward? Because it gets to be a lot. Let's go back to that schedule. Want me to give you a quick overview of how I spend my week? Tuesdays through Thursdays are master classes, workshops, clients. That's how I pack out my Tuesdays and Thursdays. Somewhere in there, I'm probably getting together, recording podcasts, or jumping on as a guest to someone's blog, someone's like podcast, right? There's ways to kind of get yourself also out there. So that was another little nugget. You are an expert in your field. You need to get also your voice out there. You have a voice. You have something of value to offer. Monday mornings are very slow for me. Monday mornings are sacred. I need to move into a space, and that's for a personal side of things. I schedule in workouts. I try to go for daily walks. When are you food prepping? When are you fueling your body? And yes, your personal care, your self-care needs to be priority. It can't just be all for business. Remember how we talked about yesterday? When are you the most energized is when you need to be working on your business. And then figure out when you're seeing clients. So Mondays are probably a good chunk of time where if I'm jumping on a meeting with Krista, she's my assistant, or sometimes we'll wait till Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Depends on our seasons, our weeks. I'll sit down and pre-schedule a whack of posts. I will shoot a bunch of content because I'm in my mojo. And you start with like one thing and you're like, oh wait, I have lots to say, and I'll record a bunch of stuff. I'll write out a lot of my email marketing. I'll write out my social posts. Sometimes they're kind of crossing over anyways. Google Doc is great. Get into your Google account and get some documents going. Just start flooding it. Write stuff out when you're feeling it and you're getting client testimonies, or you've had an experience and you want to share this. This all becomes part of your storytelling. Whether it's a blog, whether it's social media, right? Email marketing, or just having a conversation with your clients. Find time for you. Find time also for self-care. Find time to sit in silence and just be with yourself. You'd be surprised actually what creativity starts flowing. Or if you're the type of person following a masterclass like today and you're like, yes, that's probably when you're going to sit down and get busy. Things comes in seasons. Work with your hormone cycles. If you're tired, be tired. Be in that space to be like, that's okay. Maybe today's a light walk day. That'll be me today versus a heavy workout. Do we have time to like read? Are we making time for more wellness? Are we doing things that change us for the better? And this is not creating stress. Seasons come and go. Right now, we've all been planting seeds for what? A harvest. So get a little busy over these next couple of days, taking care of a couple of things to move your business forward, to move you forward. Right? Show of hands. Don't we feel amazing about ourselves when we've done a few little things and we're like, yeah, girl, look at me, right? I feel good. I feel great. So understanding what social media do I need? Do I need to get my email marketing together? Should I do a trial run with MailChimp? Everyone's got trial runs. What booking app am I going to be working with? You need to kind of set these little pillars together. This isn't happening overnight. Just make it a goal of being like, what do I want to tackle for the rest of 2024? And ask yourself that. What's really important here? Nothing wrong with being buried with overwhelming tasks. And if you need help, hire. Put it out to the universe, put it out to whoever you want to put it out to say, listen, I need help. And I need money to help fuel that help. Ask and you shall receive. If you're doing some good old, what I call elbow grease work right now, moving that needle, moving your business forward, taking care of you, you ask, you'll be taken care of. You got to believe that every little thing you're doing is for your purpose. And again, that goes back to your purpose, your meaningful work, having a vocation that aligns with the things that you need. Is this resonating with everybody? Right? And I do too. Every season, I'm like, where am I going? What am I promoting? How am I doing? Am I ready to, you know, like really knock it out of the park and have a full-blown schedule and do a bunch of things? Again, yeah, I work in seasons. Take the time when you need to take the time. I joked yesterday, for those of you who joined us today. Yeah, we had a couple boo-boos with the time slot of when this masterclass was starting. Krista and I triple check everything, like back to back, inside out, front, back, front, you name it. And somehow we still messed up. And I'm like, note to self, don't work and plan stuff while you're on summer vacation. Just don't do it. Take that time. Yes, again, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, but guys, I think the body needs a break a lot more than probably what you actually think. And this is where I'm going to probably start actually sliding in Tevi if she feels like she might be ready to take over. Yeah, girl? Okay. So these are just some things I feel like, you know, a lot of things hit very close to home and you need to come first. I've been saying that already for the last 2 days. Before I introduce Tevi, do we have any questions for right now? We'll still have at the end of the masterclass some Q&As on some tech and tools. So if you're thinking about some stuff, you can save it to the end. Don't worry, we'll make sure we take care of you, okay? That's what we're here for. I think Tevi's all ready.
I am.
I love it. Hang on 1 second, all of a sudden I'm freezing. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
No. Hold on, you guys are frozen on me. Okay, moving on. If you guys can hear me, I'll just keep talking. Are we okay? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go. Okay.
You're not frozen on us.
Okay, perfect. So Tevi, I'm excited. And, you know, this is something fun to know. Tevi and I actually went to high school together in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. And so it's like 30 years later, this past year, we've had the opportunity to kind of reconnect. And I also had the wonderful opportunity as of last week to jump on as a guest on her podcast, The Burnout Lab. And already I'm like, I appreciate the magic that we have started to create because here we are too. Now you're with us for the masterclass. But I will let Tevi do a better intro, but you know, she will say she's overcome burnout, you know, twice. And from already spending a small amount of time with Tevi reconnecting, you know, she's passionately committed to helping women like you and I do the same, offering support, podcasts, speaking. I love how Tevi has it everywhere. Live your life lit. And I think that's just fantastic, right? I love it. So I'm going to let Tevi take over. I'm going to mute myself for now. Any questions along the way, you guys just drop it into the chat and we'll make sure we have a tiny section for a little Q&A for Tevi too here when she wraps it all up. So Tevi, welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, Trina. And hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, please put your questions in the chat. I don't mind answering questions as I talk as well. So if you want to moderate, Trina, just to make sure if there's something that's there and we're switching topics that we can at least answer it, that would be great. As Trina said, I am the founder and the hostess of the Burnout Lab podcast. I completed one full season with 28 episodes last year with so many amazing guests, all women. And that actually wasn't intentional. So it was so interesting to see this trend of women burning out more frequently than men, and just to talk and listen to everybody's experiences around burnout. So I've experienced full-blown adrenal fatigue, burnout twice in my life. I didn't learn the first time. I've learned a lot the second time because I don't want it to happen ever again. It's actually, I was reflecting this morning, it's 2 years, around this time 2 years ago, when I had to take a leave of absence from my corporate job. I was the VP and head of digital at ATB Financial. And I had to take a leave of absence from my corporate job and then actually walk away from it after I was healthy enough to make that decision. That really, I came to that decision during my leave of absence. I just knew it wasn't something that was going to be healthy for me to go back into. I think the reoccurrence of burnout in my life has really taught me to ensure I'm putting myself in situations and environments that are healthy for me. I have 3 boys, a dog who's my 4th boy, and my most loved child, my dog is. And I have a husband who's been very supportive of me as I've navigated this journey of burnout. So what's so interesting about burnout is it's a bit of like not an unknown topic. I would say it's become a buzzword in the last probably couple of years, but it is an actual defined illness and it is recognized by the World Health Organization. And I don't think a lot of people know that. I think we think it's just like, oh, I'm burnt out, I'm exhausted. But burnout is actually a defined illness by the World Health Organization. And what was really interesting to me on this learning journey as I kind of hit rock bottom and went through the trenches of burnout was I think everybody around me could observe that I was experiencing it, but I couldn't see it in myself. And I would say things like, I know Trina's talking about taking care of yourself and self-care. The things I thought were self-care and thought that I was doing to take care of myself just wasn't enough. And it was really this toxic environment that I needed to remove myself from to be able to see the forest through the trees. Like I really couldn't see it. And so, yeah, just my life has come full circle. I am an entrepreneur now and I'm loving it. I know it's stressful and I know there's lots to think about. Trina talking about technology and tools. I think about that every day. What should I use? What's the best thing to use? I probably waste way too much time on that. So I would say don't waste time on it. Just pick something and use it. But what's been interesting to me navigating and self-reflecting around my own experience with burnout is one of the very first signs of burnout, the clinical signs, is actually cynicism. And that was pretty eye-opening for me because I think that as I reflect back, I realize I probably was quite cynical and it crept up on me, I think, faster than I expected. But I didn't realize I was being cynical because sometimes when you're around people, you're cynical together. And so I think that to recognize burnout in yourself and to make sure you look after yourself before it's too late. If you reflect and you feel like you are experiencing a lot of cynicism or feeling very cynical about things that maybe you shouldn't feel cynical about, I would just take a step back and reflect and understand if you are on the path to burnout. That is one of the very early symptoms, cynicism. And so that was eye-opening for me. I had no idea that cynicism was connected to burnout, but it is very much connected. So if you are working on your business, working in your business, and you're feeling quite cynical, maybe stop yourself, take a breath, take a step back, maybe take a day or 2 off, just take some time to rejuvenate yourself and make sure you're in a good space so that you don't go down the path of burnout to where it gets to adrenal fatigue and serious physical ailments and all sorts of things can happen, and everybody experiences it differently. And so, yeah, I would say just make sure you take care of yourself. There is ways to like self-assessments and psychological kind of surveys you can take that help you better understand if you maybe are on your way to burnout. They are quite effective. So I would recommend using those as well. The reason why I actually started the podcast was not to make money, because it's not a money. I don't know if you guys know this about podcasts, but it's really hard to make money on a podcast. It was actually because when I was at the worst kind of point in my burnout journey, I would walk and walk and walk. I would walk with my dog, and I was just looking for podcasts to listen to where other people had maybe experienced burnout so that I felt less alone, and I couldn't find much. I found like one small series of podcasts around burnout. And I thought to myself, you know what, when I get to the other side of this, I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to build a platform, and we're going to share stories of burnout to reduce the amount of stigma and shame that there is around burnout. Burnout is something that is filled with shame. It's filled with guilt. And it's filled with very negative emotions. And sometimes that's why we don't stop to address what's happening in ourselves, is because we feel so shameful about it and we feel so guilty about it. And it's like, how could I have let it get this bad? How it can't be as bad as it seems. I can't be burnt out. I just, I'll start Monday kind of thing, right? And you do have to stop. And it is hard. You have to work through the shame, and you have to work through the guilt, and you have to make sure that your identity is attached to you as a human being, not attached to your business, not attached to your role, not attached to anything else in the world. That will burn you out so fast. My identity was so attached to this. I was the youngest female vice president at ATB, and my identity was so attached to that. Yeah, your identity is not your job. It totally is not. And so I spent a lot of time in therapy untangling my identity from my role. And so my advice here would be, like, make sure you know who you are outside of your beauty business, outside of what you're doing. Don't let it completely define you. Yes, it's a part of you. It's an important part of you, but there is a whole human being there that is also really important. And so make sure you feel strongly about knowing your identity, knowing who you are. If you're stripped down to nothing, who are you underneath it all? I think that's really, really important, because oftentimes we burn out because we're trying to uphold these identities that we think we're supposed to be because society is telling us that, but we aren't. That's really hard to do, especially if it's misaligned with who you are on the inside. I was telling Trina on the podcast, there's like a scientific definition to burnout, but I made up my own definition because this is how I felt. I felt like, burnout for me ultimately was the misalignment of who I was on the inside and how I was expected to show up in the world. And those things were no longer aligned. And that led me down this steep hill of burnout. And so I think ensuring that who you are on the inside and the way that you need to show up in the world for yourself, for your clients, for your family, whoever that might be, it needs to be aligned. You can't be feeling like you have to show up as somebody who is so different from who you are on the inside, because that will send you spiraling over time. So just make sure that you have a good understanding of who you are, who you want to be, how you want to show up for the world, and make sure you feel like you've created a safe enough space for yourself and your clients to be able to do that as well. I think the other thing too, when I think about the beauty industry, a lot of times you guys can take on the emotions of your clients. You are that ear, that sounding board. I know any of my beauty providers, I have so much trust in them. I was thinking the other day, I get my hair colored once a month, and I was like, I don't really need to do this anymore. I have to like cut my spending back. But then I was like, no, but that's like my therapy. I don't want to cut that out. But then I was reflecting on that too, and thinking like my stylist, Heather, she's amazing. And I can't imagine what people download to her over a day's period or over a week's period. And so I think you guys have to find ways to protect yourself, and not, if you're an empath of any sort, not really take that on as your own energy, and just be that sounding board. You don't have to solve things for people. I just think for some reason we just have this, such a high degree of trust in our providers when it comes to our services, which is amazing. It truly is. It goes to show you the degree of like loyalty and trust that people have in you. But just make sure you have the ability to shake that off at the end of the day and not feel like you have to take it on. I think that's really important. Yeah, and so, with my journey to come back from burnout, I hate the word resilient, by the way. Hate is a strong word, but I dislike the word resilient. I don't like it because if you look up the definition for resilient, it means to bounce back quickly. And it's the word quickly that bothers me, because I don't know if you guys followed Simone Biles during the Olympics, and like if you watch her story on Netflix, it's a really interesting story because she actually burnt out and she got something called the twisties. And that's in gymnastics when it's very dangerous because it's all of a sudden you can't really perform or complete the moves that you need to complete. And obviously that's dangerous when you're Simone Biles and doing like 27 flips in the air at a time. And it's called the twisties. And I thought that was interesting because I think that really could apply to any of us. Like, I got the twisties, like I'm not performing at my best. I don't know what's wrong. Why am I not performing at my best? But what I loved about Simone's story and how she explained it was she took the time to recover versus be resilient and bounce back quickly. If you watch her story on Netflix, she talks about like, oh, there would be a month where I would just show up at the gym one day a month and nobody knew when she was coming. Like, she took ownership of like, this is my recovery. This is for me. I'm going to do it my way. And so I really like the word recovery over the word resilient, because I think we put this expectation on ourselves to bounce back quickly. And then that's just more pressure. It's just another thing to be like, oh, like the society expects me to bounce back so quickly from this. And then we're actually not taking the time to heal and recover and do the things we need to do so this doesn't happen again. And that's what happened to me. I didn't recover. I never recovered from the first time it happened. The first time it happened, my face actually got paralyzed. I had something called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. That's what Justin Bieber got a while back when he had to like cancel all his concerts. So it's Bell's palsy, but then you get shingles in your ear too. And the shingles is what makes it Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. Anyways, my face was paralyzed. I took 2 weeks off and I went back to work and my face wasn't even fully moving again. I was even kind of working during the 2 weeks I was off. It was ridiculous. Like, what was I doing? Why did I not take the time to recover? So I think I was like, I'm resilient. I can bounce back quick. Watch how quick I can bounce back from this. Like, I felt like I had something to prove. I still don't really know what I was trying to prove. Anyways, I proved that you can burn out more than one time and that it's really important for you to take the time to recover. And so my advice to you would be really watch those early signs of burnout. If you're feeling cynical, if you're feeling like you're having a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, if the things that used to bring you joy and excitement are no longer bringing you joy and excitement because you just can't get your head there because you're thinking about something else that's really consuming you and is really a big contributor of stress for you, I think it's important to take the time. And then recovery. Just recovery is so important, and everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey to recovery is different. I was actually on my Instagram stories this morning because I reflected that it's been almost 2 years and I still don't feel 100%. And I don't know if I'll ever feel 100%. I don't know. And that's okay. I mean, everybody is so different and that's okay, but at least I'm aware of it and I know, and I can watch for signs and symptoms and I can rest and recover when I need to do that. So yeah, that would be my other tip, is just make sure you're spending that time to recover, whether it's a day, a week, a month, whatever that looks like for yourself, whether at the end of the day after downloading all your clients' emotions that you need to do something that night to recover from the day. I think recovery is my favorite word right now over resilience. And I would say definitely choose recovery over resilience, because I actually don't think you can bounce back if you don't spend the time recovering. I think it's really important. So maybe I'll just pause there, Trina, and see if there's any questions. I'm very open about my experience, so you can ask me anything you want to ask me. I'd be happy to share it.
No, this is good stuff. Not gonna lie, it's bringing up some tears for me. I was like, ugh. Great sharing. How are you doing now? For all your boys from Mary. How are your kids?
Yeah, they're doing really back to school. Woohoo! I was so happy to have a quiet house this morning. Oh my gosh. I work from home, and so, they're self-sufficient, but they were like roaming around all summer, and just knowing that they're kind of there roaming around really started to weigh on me, and I didn't realize it. So I was so happy to see them get on the bus this morning.
I'm sure there was a big show of hands for everyone being like, those
Yeah.
children. Krista's one of them for sure. No, I think this is like good stuff. And, maybe let's just chat on this, Tabby, because we talked about this on your podcast last week. You need time to heal. And you kind of brought this up just in your talk right now. What is actually recovery? And everyone's journey is absolutely different. But I remember sharing at one point where I thought, like, self-care and wellness was still booking my schedule, trying to get to all these other appointments.
Yes.
Like, okay, now I got acupuncture, now I got chiro, now I got physio, now I got like all these things kind of going on. And sometimes it's just like maybe just doing something a little differently or just not doing nothing at all. And I've actually in 2024 have really, it's close to home. I've really understood what it is just to actually the art of doing nothing and sitting in feelings, sitting in the things you need to. Otherwise, as Tevi says, it'll just kind of suddenly just creep up. And I have to be mindful. That's why I'm like, this is how I spend my schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays are like this. Everything else is kind of gravy, or I'm like, no, thank you. Because that's just where I'm at in 2024 in my own healing journey.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that it's almost like a pep talk.
Recovery
because society does dictate a lot of things, like thinking we need to be somewhere. And I don't know, again, where that stems from. We're like, is that childhood? So did someone say something to us? Do we have career trauma? Right, that going that back and forth. And I think for me, I had to remind myself to be like, Trina, you're in a healing journey. How long that's going to take, that's okay. And I'm trusting that everything I need is always going to be taken care of while I have that opportunity to heal. Because that's another thing too. We get obsessed with making money, booking our schedules, doing these things. But is that actually healing for us? For me, no. I tried to do that in the summertime. I made it to 2 out of 5 Stampede parties, and I was like, I think I'm good for 5 years.
Yes, right. I think there's something to be said, Trina, around like really what it's all about is your nervous system is dysregulated, and you have to spend the time to regulate your nervous system. And if you're constantly demanding things of yourself, including going to appointments that you think are healing, it's actually that constant state of demand, or that constant state of what you think is productivity, because you get those little dopamine hits. Like, I completed this, I get a dopamine hit. I completed this. And it's almost like this addiction to productivity and addiction to demanding more of yourself. And I think there's just really something to be said about not demanding anything of yourself, whether it's an appointment that you think is going to make you feel better or not. What does it look like to just have a day where you're not demanding anything of yourself, and nobody else is also demanding anything of you?
Like, no agenda, just roll with it.
Yes.
Like, if it's 2:30 in the afternoon, you're like, what have I done today? I think that is still productive. It's just a different type of productivity. You're just hanging out.
Yes.
Like an actual perfect day, like a vacation day is what I would call it.
Totally. And those days actually make you better off in the long run, right? Yeah. So I think just that regulation of the nervous system is so important. Sometimes you'll have physical symptoms of it, and sometimes you won't. And that's the hard part. For me, I felt I felt my dysregulation of my nervous system in my chest, and I felt very anxious in my chest and actually in my forearms, which was so weird. So I would almost get like fluttery forearms and this fluttery feeling in my chest that I couldn't make go away. No matter how many massage appointments I went to, like, it was actually the constant demands that I was demanding of myself and that other people were demanding of me that were keeping me in this state of dysregulation from a nervous system perspective. And it was actually what I needed was no demands, no decisions, decision fatigue. I did an episode on this. Women make, on average, I think it's about 35,000 decisions in a day.
Minimum.
Minimum. Working moms
Seriously.
make double that. And so, when someone asks you, like, what do you want to do for dinner? And you're like, I will eat a cardboard box. I don't care what's for dinner. It's because you're tired of making decisions. There's so many decisions to be made. There's so much information coming at us in the world that we live in, with the technology, with the access to information that we have at our fingertips with our phones. It often comes down to just being fatigued about the amount of decisions you might have to make in a day. So just be conscious of that too. If you're, booking your calendar or a meeting with a client, just be conscious of how many decisions you might have to make in a day and how that might impact you and impact your nervous system as well.
This is good stuff. We have a couple comments here. Mary. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Did your bubble change? Did you say goodbye to friends as well as a job?
Yes, it changed significantly, which was really weird for me. A few of the people that I thought I was close with at work just disappeared, and that kind of made me sad. But a few of them are still good friends, so that's good. My bubble is really, really small, is down to really, like, I call them my quarters versus my pennies. So I think I probably went from 100 pennies down to 4 quarters versus like having all of these pennies that I felt like I had to somehow make a part of my life, which you don't have to. I lost a couple friends along the way because I think, my mental health was really in the tank and I was not showing up well for people. And I was not showing up well for myself. And I know some people could see what I was going through and some people couldn't. And I think that I just had to be okay with that. That was a little bit heartbreaking too, just because I would never intended for anything bad to happen. It was just the state that I was in. But it's all been a blessing, to be honest, because I don't have capacity for much more, in all honesty.
I can relate to that like 1,000%. And that's okay. And then the right people that need to be with you will be there.
Yes.
And then Mary said, Trina, you helped me actually sit alone and enjoy my coffee. Wondrous, right? Instead of trying to do 1,000 things while you're enjoying your cup of coffee in the morning, just sit and enjoy it.
Right?
I pet my cat, we play. That's how I enjoy my cup of coffee. Debbie, thank you for sharing. This is great content. Can't wait to listen to your podcast. Awesome. And then Mary said, appreciate your honesty. This is good stuff. I love it. This was so good, Tevi. Thank you for sharing your time and your journey and enlightening the crowd and giving us tons of nuggets. This is good stuff. And then just a reminder too, we will have a replay coming out, so you can always jump back in, take another listen to what Tevi has shared with us today. Other than that, thank you, Tevi. Thanks for being here, girl. This is good stuff.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm sure I'll talk to you very, very much soon. So thanks again, love.
Great. Okay, see you later. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye for now. This is good stuff. How's everybody feeling? Drop it in the chat. We're feeling good? So what I like about Masterclasses, it's like a little bit of everything. Some highlights, the good stuff, the real talk, the truth. Because this is your personal brand. This is about you. Starts with you first, and then we can build a business that feels so good instead of the other way around. No more old thinking. Debbie, awesome. I love it. This is good stuff. So wasting no more time. Keep this train moving. Krista's next. So this is Krista, virtual assistant YYC. Her and I met, I guess, several months back earlier this year in a moment talking about when my world kind of radically shifted. I knew moving forward, just with where I was going to be taking my career and my personal brand, I'm like, I need an assistant. Krista just suddenly started appearing in spots and places. It was like the universe was like, you guys need to work together. And we literally talked about life. I cried probably the whole time because that's just where I was at. And this is Krista. I call her my queen to fix all things. Where I'm like, Krista, I need you. But you know what? Krista provides assistant. She's a busy mom. She's an entrepreneur. She coaches other entrepreneurs and all the mamas out there with like using tech, the proper services, community, and also essentially probably confidence, right, Krista? You help us all out. So she's going to slide in now. She's going to talk a little bit more further about tech and tools. She's got a nice presentation for you guys. So I would highly suggest still please take some notes, and we'll open up a little Q&A at the end as well. So Krista, please introduce yourself, and so good to see you here, girl. It's all about you now.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Krista. I am the owner of Virtual Assistant YYC. I have been doing this for just about 3 years now, and it has become something that I truly love and adore, working with small businesses who need help, because you come into a profession and you want to be the best, but you know what? You're not going to be the best at everything. That's one thing that you have to remember. You're not going to be that techie person. You're going to know all the skincare stuff. You're going to know how to help people and to build their confidence and their outer confidence and all that kind of stuff. But you might not know how to set up that booking link, how to set up your website so that people can find you, right? So that is where a person like myself comes in. I want to work with you and to help you and your business become even bigger than what you thought it would be, by helping you with those things that are just weighing you down, stuck in your brain, kind of like what Tevi said about being burnt out. That kind of stuff can weigh heavy and feel like it is all consuming, and you can't think about what you need to do for clients or what you need to do even tomorrow, because you feel like you're drowning in that back end stuff. So that's kind of what I do, and I love it. So I wanted to dive in. I do have a presentation that I would like to share. It's just little tidbits for you, and a visualization for you guys to look at.
I'm interrupting. Is it letting you share? Because I might have
No.
to make you host. There we go.
Yeah.
Just like yesterday. Again, when tech is great.
It's great when it's great.
Okay, it's all yours. I think it worked.
Perfect. Let me just make this.
While she's pulling it up, this presentation too will be included in the replay. If you're joined us through email or on our Facebook community page, that'll be all included as well. Just everybody has reference point for later.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of blurb through what each section that you need to integrate into your business. The first, even though we're going to go through a whole bunch of stuff, the main things that you're going to want to really implement now are going to be your booking system, anything that has to do with your client relationship. So when you're integrating your appointments and you want people to come in and feel like you are a professional, you want to make sure that you have a program that reflects that, a program that is going to be easy to use from the client end and from your end as well, because you don't want to be weighed down by that. So there's things like Set More. So that's what Trina uses. It's super easy. You put in the times that you need to book, the times that you're available, and people just go in there. And there's also Square Appointments. So a lot of the programs, if you just type it into Google, integrated appointment scheduling or booking programs, a whole schwack of them will come up. Find one that works for you. Find one that makes sense to you. You don't have to use what everyone else is using, because everyone else's business is so much like everybody's business is different. When you have a program like that set up, you can send out those automated reminders. So you're not having to sit down at your phone or in your email and be like, okay, I have these 12 people that I'm seeing today. I have to send out 12 texts or 12 emails. You want to eliminate that so that you get rid of that feeling like you're being burnt out. Your customizable booking pages. So that's setting your times that you are available and sticking to that. I know I have a program that I use with all of my clients when I'm booking in discovery calls, and I make sure I go through it often because I have 4 young kids and they're all so busy, and I need to make sure that my schedule reflects when I am available. If I'm not available and I have people trying to come in and talk to me and even just ask simple questions, it gets to be a lot and it weighs you down. It makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being pulled in a million different directions, and it's hard. So making sure that you have something like this is beneficial for you and beneficial for your clients. Another cool thing is some of the programs you can also accept payments, which is awesome, because then they can input their credit card information and it would automatically, after their appointment has finished or you've finished with them, it will automatically charge that credit card. So that takes a whole nother step out of your day. Just scoot to the next one. I don't know how many of you have actual physical products that you can sell to people, but integrating something like an inventory management system would be really beneficial as well. They have things that will let you know how much of one product that you have, how much you need to order moving forward, and keep track of best before dates or expiration dates, because being in this kind of field, you need to make sure that you're on top of that kind of stuff, because you don't want to sell somebody expired bottle of lotion or creams or whatever that could be really detrimental to you. So making sure that you have a system like this kind of system wouldn't be something that I would recommend right off the hop. But making sure that down the line, when you are starting to build that product and you're starting to move through your inventory, getting something like that can really be beneficial for you as well. Your accounting and invoicing. So this is another super back end thing that with small businesses, you need to make sure that you're on top of as well. If you are working with an accountant, they can be really beneficial in helping you decide what program could be really well integrated into your business, and making sure that it is a program that can be integrated with your booking system or your CRM, because then they will talk back and forth to each other, and then that eliminates another whole step for you. So things like QuickBooks and FreshBooks, those things can all be integrated and run basically by themselves once you have them set up. So you can do your invoicing on there, your expense tracking, tax preparation. I use QuickBooks and I love it so much in my business, because at the end of the year, I just click, I want to do my taxes, and it just pulls it all together. So that eliminates that time and stress of finding where dollars went, where all your money has gone. So making sure that you have something like that built in as soon as you start charging clients, to keep yourself organized right off the bat. Scoot. I did want to jump in and kind of talk a bit more about your websites and that kind of stuff, because I know that can be a really heavy feeling like, oh my gosh, where am I going to find my next client? Like, they don't know me from a hole in the wall. How am I going to find clients, right? So making sure that when you do start to build that website, that you are making yourself findable. So making sure that when you set up your Google business, making sure that you are using keywords. So I just wanted to, this is kind of my little workshop thing, because I know this kind of is struggle, like it's a big struggle for people. I want you to write down 3 to 5 keywords, just one word that describes your business. So something that you do within your business, say it's like laser, or say it's makeup services. Just write down 3 to 5 words. Those words are what you're going to use in your SEO website portion of your website. So what your SEO does is that makes it so that people can find you on Google. If you type into Google, say even like virtual assistants, it will pop up with a million different virtual assistants. But if you're looking for something specific, say newsletters or something like that, a lot of my SEOs will have those types of words in there so that my stuff pops up first, so that people can see, oh, she does that. That's how I'm going to find her. So making sure that you use those 5 keywords. Now, in addition to that, you want to make sure that you have like a long identifying statement about yourself. So that is something that you can use to niche down your clients, making sure. So you could say something along the lines of bridal makeup, like, you know, I'm a little bit lost for words at that kind of stuff for you guys, but so yeah, so something like bridal makeup in Calgary, Alberta, specializes in XYZ. And then that long tail stuff would be something that you would integrate into the descriptions of your photos. If you put photos onto a website, there will be a spot where you can put SEO description, put that in there. And it can be the same. Like once you like target down and make sure that you have that long tailed keyword, stick that in there, because that will be what people type in. You think about when you go to Google, bridal makeup services Calgary, that will pop up, and it will pop up with people who have those as their SEOs. Creating your content is also really important, making sure that you have high quality content. If you're taking photos of clients and taking photos of stuff that you've done in the past, making sure that it's not covered up by a shadow, making sure that the camera in the picture is clear. People won't think of you as a professional if you don't have professional looking photos. Now, I'm not saying go out, get yourself a branding photographer and spend hundreds of dollars on that kind of stuff. We all have amazing smartphones nowadays. Stick a light right above you and take a picture of it. That's all you have to do. Just make sure it's clear. Make sure that your videos are clear when you're out speaking to people. I've seen a lot of small businesses, they'll take a quick video of something, but you don't really know what you're looking at. Make sure that it's clear. Make sure that pretend like you're talking to somebody who has no idea what your business even is. Even if they've seen you 100 times, make sure that you're being nice and clear, and that your website is nice and clear, that your social media stuff is nice and clear. Just make yourself look clear and professional is what I would say for that. Another thing that is something that a lot of people kind of forget about when they are building a website is, what does it look like when it's on your phone? So this is something that I had to learn way off a few years ago, is that when you're building a website, whatever website builder that you use, whether it be like Wix or Squarespace or any of those, making sure that you toggle back and forth from what does it look like on a desktop and what does it look like on a phone. Because if you think, how many times a day do you go on your phone just to do a quick Google search and that website pops up? You want to make sure that it's nice and clear and you can read all the words. If people are on their phone and they're doing a quick little midnight search of something that popped into their brain and it's all words jumbled together, they're just going to say goodbye, and you've lost a potential client from there. And making sure that that you have, sorry, I've lost my train of thought all of a sudden. My dog just ran past and my brain went, yeah, so make sure that everything is clear and concise. I'm just going to zip out of here and just look at my notes quick, because I did have a couple other things to share. Oh, I did want to jump back into newsletters, because I know that can also feel like a bit of a daunting task. So as Trina had mentioned earlier, you don't own your social media followers. You don't own those people. You don't own the communications to those people. So if something was to happen where your Facebook or your Instagram was to all of a sudden disappear, how are you how do you plan on keeping your name known to potential clients or current clients? How are you going to keep your name known? The best way to do that is to have that email marketing. So there are things like Flowdesk or MailChimp that are really easy to use and cost effective that can keep those people and their communications in check with what you are doing. The Instagram is more of a highlight reel for what you do, more of a, hey, look at this, it's pretty, I love what I do, check it out. Your email marketing is something where you can put your sales on and really drive those sales, because a lot of people, when they see that on social media, they're like, oh, it's just another ad. Oh, it's just this, it's just that, right? If you get on to your email marketing and you do that, you're going to have more people respond. You're going to have more people want to follow you along and be interested into what you are providing for them. So making sure that that's nice and clear, and keeping it in touch with how you feel. If you feel like you're more of a personal person and you want to chat about what you did all summer, go for it. Not every newsletter marketing thing has to be salesy. Make it so that you are personable to the people. Like, you guys are in a business where you are physically touching others. You are in their space. You are building that close relationship with your clients. Make it close on email marketing, on your newsletters. Make it close. You don't have to send out a newsletter every second day. Like that's exhausting. Send it out once a month. Send it out once every couple months. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And making sure that that it is in touch with your brand and your brand voice and how you want to portray yourself and your business across to people. See, I think I went through all of my notes. I did. So, I know it's kind of a lot, but does anybody have any questions about maybe different kinds of programs or things that you've kind of looked into that maybe you have questions about?
Any clarification? I did drop in the chat Krista's links, but also Intuit is the company that owns MailChimp and QuickBooks, which is good to know. And yes, I'm a fan of QuickBooks too. And if you have an accountant, they'll love you even more.
Mm-hmm.
It's so slick. You can track mileage, your expenses, sync your bank accounts, like literally take care of all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
No. I am interested in the automatic posts. Where on the canvas would we find this?
Okay, so there's a few different ways that you can go about this. With Canva, you have to make sure that your Canva is connected to your social media. So you can connect it to Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if LinkedIn, you can do that, but LinkedIn, you don't really, whatever you make on Canva is not really what you want to post on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more informational, right? So, let me see. I could even just let me just exit out of this part.
Old school is good, Jennifer, old school is good. We still need old school. Like, we still talk about referrals, networking, creating those business relationships, your clients, right? We're in the business of relationships. So old school is still good, girl. You need it. You need like a combo of both. And then, social media is just the fun side. So if someone's Googling something, you might pop up there. LinkedIn is great for networking, connecting with other entrepreneurs, sharing that education and information like Krista suggested. I highly suggest, because everyone's an entrepreneur, check out LinkedIn. It's not as bombarded with BS as Facebook is. Time and place, like how to use Facebook. And like, we didn't do a deep dive in digital because, again, we're fans of just keeping things very simple, like the things you actually need to create ease for you and your clients. But the rest, again, Jennifer, old school.
So back to the Canva thing. So when you click, once you have your post ready to go, it's underneath the share button at the top. So that's where you can go in and you can download whatever your design is. But about halfway down, it will be a spot that says Instagram, and you go through those steps. So you can either schedule it for later or you can have it post right now.
Does that make sense? Or Krista, are you okay to share your screen for 2 seconds?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
I think sometimes we're all like creative visuals. Just show me the path, Krista.
Show me. Do it. Okay, so let's say I wanted this to be posted onto Instagram. I don't have my Instagram connected on here because I use other programs, which I will talk about in 2 seconds. But you would go up here to the share button and right here, Instagram. And then you can immediately post, or you can schedule it from your desktop. So if you have Canva downloaded on your phone, it makes it a little bit easier for transferring over into Instagram if you wanted to do it right then, or schedule your post. But there are other ways to schedule your apps schedule your posts and to go that direction. There are programs like Planoly or
Hootsuite.
Yeah, Hootsuite is a good one. But the one I have really started to enjoy with my clients is just the Meta Business Suite. So as long as you have your business Facebook and your business Instagram, you have access to Meta Business. So you can go in there and you can schedule to your heart's desire and use that instead. And then you're not having to pay for something extra.
Yeah.
The only thing is with Canva, because I have the pro version. If you're just using the free version, I'm not sure if that is also covered in there. So just trying to find ways to limit your costs that you're spending on the programs. Yes, the programs are great, but if you're only making $50 and you're spending 65 on all your programs in a month, you're not making any money and it's not doing you any good. So find the ones that are free, try them out. If you really, really love them and you have that capacity, the financial capacity to jump in on them, go for it.
Or even the time. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that earlier. How many things do we need to be logging into? Like, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Get yourself a LastPass account and you will thank me later.
I'm like thinking, if you're already in your Facebook and Instagram, use their in-house tools. Like,
Yeah,
it just makes sense. And that's what we do too. Like, if you're part of our community page, we just go and we pre-schedule a few things because it just creates that ease, right? We're like, okay, this is what we're doing this week. Oh, masterclass this week. So guess what? Bloop, 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 right? Take that time. Same too with email sequences. But MailChimp's great because you can create automations. Because I know Mary asked something here. Or was it just automatic post or Canva? I'm just clarifying, Mary. Would anybody, it was just that? Well, here's a nugget. Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. Thanks, Mary. Here's a little quick nugget if you want to jot this down. We'll keep it simple. In MailChimp, you can create an automation for your client's journey. So if they've booked in for, say, like a specific service, maybe they'll now become part of an email journey where they'll get, how to arrive for their appointment, your best practices, blah, blah, blah. There's things you can kind of create, and also even like a follow-up if you don't have time to via text or send them an email. That could be a great way too. So I think it's just, here's what, if I was in your guys' shoes, sit down and be like, what's really priority that could just help me out for right now? Then get a groove. Then what do I need? Get a groove. Then what do I need? Get a groove. Get it? Because at some point too, tech is always changing. So you might find yourself back to being like, okay, this is where I'm like, Krista, Zoom changed something. I couldn't find today's meeting. That's how this started today. So things are always constantly changing. So don't go in and just do it all. Think about what's really priority. And then that way too, less stress on your end. Was there any last thoughts? This was good stuff today. Hey, we got lots of good nuggets. So quick couple things. I'm going to get Krista to toss it in again one more time. My booking link, if you want to get together and chat with me on my coaching programs and all the different things we've got going on and available to meet your needs. book in with me. Let's chat for 10 minutes on Friday. I can give you a quick highlight and then away you go. We're here to help, here to serve. We still have our contest going on. If you're on Facebook, join our community page. I'll get Krista to toss that in there too. Invite your friends. Some people have been taking advantage of it already, which is awesome. You get entered to win a free 2-hour strategy session with me, which is awesome. Okay. And then tomorrow, get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. We're talking about partnerships, creating an effective team with yourself and with others. It's going to be huge, personal and professional. And I got 4 other speakers. You don't want to miss tomorrow. It's going to be nuts. I got Lindsay coming in. Then I got Pearl, then I got Svetlana, and then I got Brittany, and they're all different shades of different kind of businesses, but still involved in the beauty and wellness. So it's going to be great. And they're going to be sharing lots of good stuff. Oh yeah, you're going to miss out, Mary. But other than that, I think we are done here. So we'll let you guys go. Have fun with the rest of your day. Thank you for being here. This was amazing. Krista, thank you for sharing. And then, oh, Krista just shared a little discount code too, but we'll put it in the email as well. So then that way you guys have a quick access to it. Thank you for being here. This was wonderful. Have a rest of your good day today. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Bye.